If your pepper plants look healthy, but the harvest is disappointing, you might be making a mistake that almost every gardener makes without realizing it. It's not your soil. It's not your watering. And it's not even your sunlight. The real problem is what you're planting next to your peppers. Because here's the truth most people never hear: peppers don't grow best on their own. In fact, planting them alone can quietly limit your harvest. But when you pair them with the right companion plants, something surprising happens. Your plants grow stronger. Pests start disappearing. And your yield can increase far beyond what you thought was possible, naturally. And today, I'm going to show you the hidden companion plants that can completely change the way your peppers grow. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which companion plants to grow with your peppers to boost your harvest without extra work. You'll learn how certain plants quietly protect your peppers from pests, improve the soil around them, and even help them produce more fruit. And the best part is, you don't need chemicals, complicated setups, or years of experience. This is simple, stress-free gardening. You'll also see how to place these plants correctly, because placement is where most gardeners go wrong. And once you understand this, you'll be able to turn even a small garden bed into a thriving, productive space, with less effort and better results. If you've ever grown peppers, you've probably experienced this. The plant looks fine at first. Nice green leaves. Decent growth. But then, pests show up. Or the plant just stalls. Or the peppers are smaller than expected. And you're left wondering what went wrong. Most advice out there focuses on fertilizers, watering schedules, or complicated techniques. But here on Stress-Free Garden Living, we focus on something different. We focus on working with nature, not against it. Simple strategies that make your garden easier to manage, not harder. And companion planting is one of the easiest ways to do that. Now, most gardeners already know a few companion plants like basil or marigolds. But there's one method I'll share later in this video that combines several plants together in a way that creates a natural system around your peppers. And this one small change can make a bigger difference than anything else you do. So make sure you stick around for that. Let's start with the first hidden companion plant. Basil. Now you might have heard of basil before, but most people don't use it correctly with peppers. Here's what makes basil so powerful. It naturally repels pests like aphids, spider mites, and even some beetles that love to attack pepper plants. But more importantly, basil releases compounds into the air that can actually improve the growth environment around your peppers. It creates a kind of protective scent barrier. Why does this work? Because many pests rely on smell to find plants. And basil confuses that signal. Instead of your peppers being an easy target, they become harder to detect. Imagine your pepper plants growing with fewer holes in the leaves, fewer insects crawling around, and stronger, more vibrant growth. That's the visual difference. The simple action step is this. Plant basil about 8 to 12 inches away from your pepper plants. Not too far, not too close. You want them close enough to interact, but not competing for space. Now here's something most people overlook. Marigolds. But not just for decoration. Marigolds are one of the strongest natural pest deterrents you can plant. They release compounds into the soil that repel harmful nematodes, tiny pests that attack roots. And they also help keep away whiteflies and aphids above ground. Why does this matter for peppers? Because peppers are especially sensitive to root damage. If the roots struggle, the entire plant struggles. So by protecting the roots, marigolds help your peppers grow stronger from the ground up. Picture this. Healthier roots. Stronger stems. And more consistent fruit production. To use them effectively, plant marigolds around the edges of your pepper bed. Think of them as a protective border. This creates a natural shield around your plants. Now let's move to something more surprising. Nasturtiums. These are often called trap crops. And that's exactly what they do. Instead of keeping pests away, they attract them. At first, that might sound like a bad idea. But here's why it works. Pests like aphids and caterpillars will go for nasturtiums instead of your peppers. It's like giving them a decoy. So instead of your pepper plants being attacked, the pests gather somewhere else. This reduces stress on your peppers and allows them to focus on growing and producing fruit. You'll start to notice cleaner leaves and healthier plants overall. The key is placement. Plant nasturtiums a short distance away from your peppers, not right next to them. You want to draw pests away, not bring them closer. Now here's the interesting part. Each of these plants works on its own. But when you combine them, something much more powerful happens. You're not just planting randomly anymore. You're building a system. And in a moment, I'll show you how to combine these plants in a simple layout that can completely transform your pepper harvest. But first, there are two more hidden companions that most gardeners never think about. Let's talk about onions and garlic. These are incredibly underrated when it comes to peppers. They release strong natural compounds into the soil and air that repel a wide range of pests. Things like aphids, beetles, and even some fungal issues. Why do they work so well? Because their smell is strong and constant. It masks the scent of your pepper plants. So pests simply don't recognize your peppers as food. Think of it like hiding your plants in plain sight. The visual result is fewer pest problems and more consistent growth. To use them, plant onions or garlic in between your pepper plants or along the rows. They don't take up much space, so they fit easily into most gardens. Now here's one that really surprises people. Carrots. Yes, carrots. At first, it doesn't seem like they would help peppers at all. But they do something very important underground. Carrots loosen the soil as they grow. They push through the soil, creating space and improving airflow around the roots. Why does this matter? Because pepper roots need oxygen just as much as they need water. Loose soil allows roots to expand more easily and absorb nutrients better. The result? Stronger plants and larger yields. You won't see this happening above ground, but you'll definitely notice the difference in your harvest. To use carrots, simply plant them in the spaces between your peppers. They grow downward, so they won't compete for space above. Now let's quickly talk about a mistake that can cancel out everything we've covered. Planting the wrong companions. Some plants actually compete with peppers or even harm their growth. One of the biggest examples is fennel. Fennel releases compounds that can stunt the growth of nearby plants, including peppers. Another group to be careful with is brassicas, like cabbage or broccoli. These plants are heavy feeders. They compete for nutrients in the soil, leaving less available for your peppers. So even if everything else is right, these plants can quietly reduce your yield. The key is not just adding good companions, but also avoiding the wrong ones. Now let's bring everything together. Because this is where the real magic happens. When you combine basil, marigolds, nasturtiums, onions, and carrots, you create a natural ecosystem around your peppers. Each plant plays a role. Some repel pests. Some attract them away. Some improve the soil. And others protect the roots. Together, they reduce stress on your pepper plants. And when plants are less stressed, they grow better and produce more. Here's a simple layout you can follow. Place your pepper plants in the center. Surround them with basil and onions for protection. Add marigolds around the edges as a barrier. Plant carrots in between for soil health. And position nasturtiums slightly away to draw pests away. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just aim for balance. Now here's the most important tip in this entire video. And it's something most gardeners completely miss. Companion planting is not about single plants. It's about layers. Think of your garden like a system instead of individual plants. Above ground, you have plants that protect and repel pests. At ground level, you have plants that attract or distract pests. Below ground, you have plants improving soil structure and root health. When all these layers work together, your garden becomes more self-sustaining. You'll notice fewer problems. Less need for intervention. And more consistent results. This is what allows you to grow more, with less effort. And that's the real secret. So if your pepper plants haven't been producing the way you hoped, it might not be something you're doing wrong. It might just be what you're planting around them. By using these hidden companion plants, you're giving your peppers the support they need to thrive. You're reducing pests naturally, improving the soil without extra work, and creating an environment where your plants can grow stronger and produce more. And the best part is, once it's set up, it keeps working for you. That's the beauty of stress-free gardening. Less effort, better results, and a garden that feels easier to manage. If you enjoyed this and want more simple ways to grow better without the stress, make sure you subscribe to Stress-Free Garden Living. Because that's what this channel is all about. Helping you get real results in your garden, without complicated methods or constant work. And I'd love to hear from you. Which of these companion plants are you already using, or planning to try first? And have you ever noticed a difference when planting certain crops together? Let me know in the comments. Your experience might help someone else grow better too. And if you found this helpful, give the video a like so more gardeners can discover these simple, natural methods. I'll see you in the next video. Seedling.